For lawyers, time is limited. What if you could expand time by changing your relationship to it?
Welcome to the New Billable Hour podcast, transforming the way you think about time in your law practice and life. And now, here's your host, lawyer and best-selling author, Ritu Goswami.
Welcome to episode 11 of the New Billable Hour podcast. Today's topic is time wasters, over-preparing and procrastinating. First, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this episode, Strail Legacy Planning Law Offices, located in SoCal, California, helps individuals and families protect their legacy and create peace of mind through estate planning. They focus on wills, trusts, trust administration, and probate. Strail Legacy Planning can be reached at www.santacruzestateplanning.com or 831-621-2165. Now let's get on with our show. Let's start with 3 deep breaths together. So exhale everything. Inhale and exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. Very good. So, when I was a girl in elementary school, I was a very good student, as probably are many of you. And I had one of my first tests. I think it was history, something like that. And I told my mom I was so nervous about my test that I needed to read my whole textbook. I think it was a final exam, actually. So it might have been the first time I had a final exam. And so I read cover to cover this textbook. And I remember my mom supported me because I wanted to read it out loud to her, right? And so I just, oh my gosh, I remember that. And so that was some of my first memories of over-preparing. So I'm sure many of you have those kinds of stories, especially being a lawyer. When we over-prepare, we're so nervous that we just go above and beyond what's necessary. We spend so much time doing things that may or may not be helpful. And this can show up studying for the bar. It can show up preparing for court, anything like that. And I would like you to think about a story when you over-prepared. There are probably many. And then also choose a story when you procrastinated. So when you didn't want to do a big project, it's like was haunting you in the background and you just put it aside and kept putting aside every day. And it was just like this cloud over you. And think about that story, your procrastination story from when you were younger or now as a lawyer, as a law student. And I invite you to think about how these two concepts are really the same. These are time wasters. So either we are over preparing, right? Or we are procrastinating. So either we're spending so much time working on a case that really after a while is diminishing returns. After a while, it doesn't really matter what you put into it. You're basically ready. And actually it can be harmful, as you know. You could be kind of detracting from the good work you've done and fatiguing ourselves. And instead we could have been doing something else that would have been more fulfilling and nourishing that will help us for the task at hand. So getting enough sleep, just, finding a calmness and stillness so then we can approach whatever problem or test or trial is in front of us, and so we can think more clearly. Instead of that, we're just over-researching, overworking, over-preparing. And there's this like loop that will just continue to do that until we can't anymore, essentially, until we burn out. And then procrastination is very similar. So we have things to do. We know what we need to do for the most part. And if we don't, we have the skills and wherewithal to find out how, but we keep putting it aside. We don't want to deal with it for many reasons that we come up with, but really we don't want to deal with that project, that client, that task. whether it has to do with your business or with your law firm, a case that you don't want to deal with, a client that you don't want to call, you're avoiding. And this can go on for a short period of time. Or sometimes we can be very successful, and for a long period of time, we can be procrastinating. So both of these conditions, situations, have something in common. They waste time. And the reason we are doing them comes out to one thing: perfectionism. So for both of these activities, whether we're avoiding something or we're over preparing for something, it means we want to be perfect, and we don't have the confidence to know when we are perfect, when we're finished, or we don't want to approach a project because we want to do it perfectly and we may not have the experience, or it's very difficult for us, and so we don't want to even try because it's not going to be perfect. And it's really not. We have that knowing, we have that intuition. It's not going to be perfect at our best level work. And so then we just avoid the whole thing. Or we figure this is not my best work, so I'm going to compensate by over preparing. So this lack of confidence shows up in these activities, which is probably mostly what we're doing a lot of the time. And then we say we don't have time, right? So in today's episode, I just really wanted to bring attention to these time wasters, and, no judgment, as they say, but just an invitation to develop awareness when you're engaging in these activities. Kind of go deeper. Let's go deeper. And what is this about? Is this about perfectionism that doesn't exist? Is it about high achieving stories that we have that we're supposed to do things a certain way? What if we become more aware of what we're doing and maybe ease up on ourselves? I know. But first, just become aware of it. There's something about becoming aware of a habit or a cycle that can help it kind of loosen, right? If we're aware that we're over preparing, maybe we'll over prepare less. If we're aware that we're procrastinating, we might procrastinate less because we know where this train is going, so we can get off that train, right? So in creating this awareness, you'll create time. We can tackle these time wasters. This is not about feeling bad. This is about creating the life that you want to live as a lawyer, where you have enough time and space and energy to serve your clients, to have work-life balance, and to feel good, to have confidence and feel good in your work product. So thank you. That's what I have for today. And I would like to take 3 breaths together. So exhale everything. And then deep inhale. And exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. Beautiful. I'd like to thank again the sponsor of this episode, Strail Legacy Planning Law Offices, located in SoCal, California, helps individuals and families protect their legacy and create peace of mind through estate planning. They focus on wills, trusts, trust administration, and probate. Strail Legacy Planning can be reached at www.santacruzestateplanning.com or 831-621-2165. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us on the New Billable Hour podcast with your host, Ritu Goswami. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you like to listen. To get your free copy of the New Billable Hour book and other resources, visit www.newbillablehour.com. You can contact Ritu directly at ritu@newbillablehour.com.